is Feline Mahoney, and today's class is called A Time for Sleep. Practicing yoga just before bedtime can help you to manage symptoms of insomnia. You may be able to fall asleep quicker, sleep for longer, and go back to sleep after waking up at night. The therapeutic yoga sequence is going to cover yoga poses of all positions to help stretch the spine with awareness in order to encourage the flow of prana, both upward and downward, to reduce stress, anxiety, and tension around the nerves and joints. Please come to your mat in a seated pose that is comfortable for your body. Think about your intention for your practice. Your intention is your own. It doesn't have to match the theme. It just needs to be something that's close to you. We're going to sit tall, shoulders back, back supported. Close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths. Fully release. Connect with your breath. So our first pose is going to be Tadasana, or mountain pose. So you want to come to your feet. We're going to stand at the center of the mat in Tadasana, and we're going to connect with our breath. Keep your feet firmly planted in the mat. Stand tall. Pretend like there is a string attached to your crown, pulling you towards the ceiling. You want to roll your shoulders back. You want your hips directly over your feet. You want your shoulders directly over your hips. We're going to take 6 slow, deep breaths here. Fully inhale, fully exhale for 6 rounds. From here, we're going to take a standing back bend. On your inhale, bring your arms overhead, windmill them around. Place your hands on the small of your back. Make sure your feet are firmly planted, about hip width apart. On your next inhale, lean over into back bend, opening up your heart chakra and creating space in your neck. Take 6 deep breaths here. Come back to neutral. We're going to grab a block. Set up for our next pose. We're going to do a standing forward bend, and we're going to use the block as support. Feet hip width apart. Inhale. Lift your hands overhead. Exhale. Pivot at the hips. Keep a flat back. Gently rest your hands on the block. You want your spine in a straight line. We're going to take 6 rounds of deep breaths here. On your next inhale, raise your hands overhead. Bring your hands back down to heart center. Into a neutral position. Take 3 breaths here to relax. So our next pose is Garland Pose. We're going to stand on the mat about hip width apart, and we're going to slowly and gently bend at the knees, lower ourselves down into a squat. We're going to gently wedge our elbows in between the knees and bring our hands into prayer pose. And we're going to sit with our Garland Pose. Push the abs in and press the thighs close to your chest, reducing the tightness around the abs and the belly. This also reduces unwanted gas around the various joints, and the abs will also help with good sleep. We're going to stay here for about 4 breaths, closing the eyes and moving into the awareness of the abs moving and pressing against the inner thighs. If you're having an issue with balance, you can pop a block under the root chakra if needed. So we're going to gently bring our knees to the ground to come out of Garland Pose. And we're going to come up into a Camel Pose variation. If your knees are sensitive and it feels better in your body, you can put a towel or a blanket under your knees for any of the kneeling poses. So with the Camel Pose variation, we're going to do a little warm-up to get our bodies ready. We're going to start with a half Camel Pose. You need to be on your knees, hip width apart. You want your shoulders back. We're going to take a nice big inhale and reach the arms over. On our exhale, we reach back and touch the right heel. Inhale, come up. Exhale, inhale, back up. Exhale, and go down and touch the left foot. We're going to come back next inhale, we're going to reach up. We're going to bring the hands to the small of the back, and we're going to lean back, supporting the hips as far as is comfortable in your body. We're going to take 6 breaths here. While we breathe into our heart opener. Come out of Camel Pose. We're going to go into Rabbit Pose. From the Camel Pose variation, we're going to bring the torso into a forward bend while we're still on our knees. You're going to bring your head as close as you can get it to your knees. You're going to reach back and grab your feet. We're going to take 6 deep breaths here. You might also need a blanket under your head for this one to provide some cushion. As you come out of Rabbit Pose, we're going to come down to Puppy Dog Pose. So to start Puppy Dog Pose, you're going to stay on your knees, and you're going to inch your arms and your forehead down to the mat. Take 6 rounds of breathing here. You're going to push your sits bones back as far as you can while maintaining that stretch in your shoulders and your arms. Extend them as far forward as you can. You come out of Puppy Pose. We're going to take the left arm and we're going to extend it. Put the shoulder down on your mat and extend the left arm across the body towards the right side. And we're going to extend the right hand straight up in the air. And we're going to hold for 6 breaths in a twist. And then gently move to the other side. And take the right arm across the body. Rest the right shoulder on the ground while keeping our hips straight. We're going to extend the left arm in the air for a round of 6 breaths. We're going to come back to a neutral. Our next pose is going to be Sphinx Pose. So we're going to relax the body a little bit after the twisting. So we'll come down to our abs. We want to plant our hands and elbows firmly in front of us. Elbows just right below the shoulders. We're going to keep our head slightly elevated. Rest of the body relaxed. We're going to breathe for a round of 6. So from Sphinx, we're going to roll over and do some more relaxation in a constructive rest pose. So we'll come into Tadasana, but we're going to keep our knees bent and provide a little bit of extra support under the legs. You might want a little support under the neck, whatever works for your body. And we're going to relax for right at a minute. Use this time to connect with your breath. So after we've had a chance to relax our constructive rest pose. We are going to come into Happy Baby Pose. The flow of energy through the entire body is essential for a great sleep, as the entire body needs to be relaxed, devoid of stress and tension. So the Happy Baby Pose is going to help reduce tensions around the legs, the hips, and the hamstrings. To come into Happy Baby, you're going to bend your legs, bring them in towards your chest. You're going to reach inside your knees and grab your feet. You're going to pull your feet up towards the ceiling. And you're going to gently rock from side to side, ever so gentle. This is releasing the tension in the hips and the hamstrings. It's also giving the sacrum, sacral chakra, a nice massage. You can also put a little extra pressure on the feet for a deeper stretch. Or if you want to lessen the intensity, raise your feet a little higher towards the ceiling. Whatever feels good in your body. This is about releasing tension so that you can rest. As we come out of Happy Baby Pose, we're going to do legs raised with a strap. So if you have a strap available, or a towel, or a scarf, or a belt, anything will do. It's important to place the strap around the balls of your feet, not the arches. Because the arches are much more sensitive, whereas the balls of your feet are designed to take that pressure. We're going to hold the feet straight up in the air with our strap, and we're going to breathe to the count of 10 here. When you're ready, you can release to come out of that pose. It was a great way to relax the legs with support while also helping in releasing the tensions around the lower back. The next pose we're going to do is Plow Pose. Plow Pose is good for reducing tensions around the hips, back, and the legs. It's very important in Plow Pose to keep your head and your neck straight. We're going to start by scooting down towards the bottom of our mat just a little bit, because we're going to need some room up over our head for our legs to bend over. So to come into plow, We're going to plant our shoulders firmly. Keep the neck and the head in straight alignment. We're going to push our hips up over our body. We're going to hinge at the hips. And we're going to gently extend the straightened legs until they touch. We're going to breathe for 3 here. And then we're going to come up into a shoulder stand. We're going to put our arms down. We're going to gently come back into plow. And we're going to come out of handstand or shoulder stand by gently releasing the legs and rolling out of it. The next pose we're going to do is fish pose. So for fish pose, you're going to stay on your back. You're going to lean back and use your elbows as support. Plant your elbows and forearms firmly into the mat. We're going to lean the head back into fish pose, and the crown of your head will rest on the mat. This is good for opening the throat chakra. And we're going to take 6 breaths once we're opened up into fish pose. This stretch for the throat chakra controls emotions, thoughts, and feelings that may relate to insomnia. Activating this chakra may reduce the symptoms in helping and healing insomnia. So we'll come into fish pose. Support your shoulders on your elbows and gently touch your head to the mat. Breathe for 6. Gently lift your head to come out of fish. Lay in Shavasana on the mat. We're going to do the reclining bound ankle angle pose. So we're going to put the soles of our feet together. Keep our knees and our hips open. We're going to plant the shoulders. We're going to let our arms relax out to each side. And we're going to take 10 breaths here. reclining bound angle pose. And we're going to do a supine windshield wiper twist. So we're going to keep our arms extended to the right and to the left. And we're going to gently windshield the wiper the knees to the right. We're going to inhale, bring them back to center. We're going to windshield them left. Inhale, back to center. Windshield right. Inhale, center, to the left. Inhale, to the right. Inhale, to the left. Back to neutral. Our next pose is just going to release into a corpse pose, but we're going to do reverse corpse pose. So we're going to roll over, abs down, and we're going to take 6 slow, deep breaths. Fully extended. Feet extended, arms extended, but completely relaxed. So we're going to come out of our reverse corpse pose. We're going to bring the legs through, and we're going to come to a staff pose. So in our staff pose, we want our sits bones planted firmly on the mat. We want our legs straight, core engaged, quads engaged. Pull your kneecaps towards your hips. You want your feet flexed. You want to sit up tall with your shoulders back. And we are going to bend the left leg under. And we're going to cross over with the right leg. Into half Lord of the Fishes pose. And this variation is with the hands up. So we're gonna put the elbow, the left elbow, on the outside of the right knee. And we're going to reach back behind us with the right hand. We're going to sit tall in the spine and inhale. And as we exhale, we're going to ever so gently twist back just a little bit further. And the gaze behind us. And we're going to take 4 breaths here. We're going to release the arms, and we're going to stack the knees directly on top of each other. so that your knees are stacked one on top of the other and they are facing straight out in front of you. And we're going to do a cow face pose variation. I'm going to take the right hand overhead, bring it around, grab the other hand in the back if you can reach. If you have difficulty reaching on either side, one side is generally tighter than the other, you're welcome to use a strap, a towel, scarf, a belt, to have that tension of the arms going back to each other. I'm going to release that. We're going to forward fold with our legs still in the cow face pose. So we're going to inhale. We're going to gently hinge at the hips and exhale as we come over. Come down as far as you can in your body and take 4 breaths here. So we're going to come back up. Our inhale, we're going to change the legs. We're going to bring the right leg under, and we're going to twist the left leg over to the top in the half Lord of the Fishes pose with arms up. We're going to take the right elbow, place it to the outside of the left knee, keep the arm bent and up. We're going to reach behind us with the left arm extended, and we're going to sit nice and tall as we take an inhale. We're going to exhale. We're going to gently breathe just a little deeper into our Lord of the Fishes pose. Take 4 breaths here. We're going to take that knee that's elevated, we're going to stack it on top of the other knee so that both knees are facing forward. We're going to take the left hand, we're going to reach it over the top of our head. Left hand, reach it over the top of the head. Reach down to the right hand as far as you can. If you can clasp your hands or grab the opposite wrist, do so. If you need a strap to create that sensation, you can use a strap. We're going to breathe here for the count of 4. We're going to release. We're going to do a forward bend in our cow face pose variation. So take a nice big inhale. As you exhale, bring your arms to the mat. Forward fold as much as is comfortable for your body. 4 breaths here. You can come out of your forward cow face bend into your most comfortable seated pose, whether it's easy pose, half lotus, whatever works for your body. We're going to close the eyes and relax the entire body for about 6 breaths. Go slow with the breathing and extend the spine upwards. You want your shoulders back and your sits bones firmly planted. Be aware of the movement of the spine and the abdomen as the breathing goes deeper yet slow. The next part of our practice, we're going to do some sequences of breathing exercises. The first one is called Cetali. Generally, it is very difficult to focus on breathing when suffering from anxiety spells, and hence the practice of breathing techniques is done last in the sequences after a complete opening of the limbs, muscles, and nerves of the body. In your seated easy pose, close your eyes and begin the practice of Sitali Pranayama. Turning the tongue inwards, forming a pipe. Inhale through this pipe to a maximum and closing the mouth, hold that inhaled breath for about 10 seconds, pulling the abs in deep inside and blocking the chin against the chest. Slowly exhaling through the nostrils, releasing the neck from the chest. The cool breath going in through the tongue cools the nerves, starting from the tip of the lips to the lungs and towards the brain, relaxing and cooling the nerves that need attention. Repeat this process of inhalation and exhalation for about 8 rounds of breath, and every round, hold the breath within a little bit longer if you can. So we're going to start with curling the tongue, taking a breath in. We're going to hold it for about 10 seconds while we lock our chin, and then we're going to release through the nostrils. We're going to do this for 8 rounds. Roll your tongue. Here's our last one. Sitali Pranayama is very effective, not only for the nerves, but it also encourages to improve the lung capacity, encouraging proper breathing. And proper breathing means lesser tensions and lesser anxiety spells. The next breathing exercise we're going to do is Sitkari. So we just did Sitali, and the next one is called Sitkari. It's the same as above in terms of benefits, but here we're going to place the tongue close to the teeth, which are placed close together with the mouth open. We're going to inhale maximum through this slightly open mouth and hold the inhaled breath for a few seconds, blocking the chin against the chest. Then we're going to slowly exhale, closing the mouth and releasing the air from the nostrils. The smooth flow of breath inwards and the smooth flow of breath outwards should help to relax the nerves and muscles, giving a deep sense of calmness from within. Practice about 8 rounds and watch the changes happening from within. And with every round, hold the breath just a little bit longer to get maximum benefit. So we're going to make a smile with our mouth open, just to expose a little bit of teeth. Doesn't have to be a big smile. We just want that airflow. We want the tongue up against the back of the teeth as we breathe in, and we're going to hold that breath before we breathe out through the nostrils. So sit up straight, shoulders back. Breathe in with the tongue against the back of the teeth. Chin down, hold it. Exhale through the nostrils. That was the last one. So next, we're going to move on to Bumble Bee Breath. Moving on to the end of our breathing technique, seated in easy pose. Close your eyes with your fingers while the thumb closes the ears, and practice Bumble Bee Breath. As you inhale through both nostrils, the exhalation happens at the back of the soft palate, making a sound. The sound causes vibrations within the body, bringing a great sense of balance with one's emotions and therefore calming the mind. The sound of the bee here should be so powerful and clear, creating a wonderful world from within, while the mind is disconnected from the sounds outside with closed ears. If rightly done, this form of breathing brings tremendous benefits and does not only help in healing the symptoms related to anxiety, but keeps one away from other ailments caused with acute anxiety. Practice this for about 10 rounds and enjoy the process of the sound vibrations within. So we're going to start by putting the thumbs, covering the ears, and we're going to cover the eyes with the first 3 fingers of each hand. We're going to inhale in very deep, and on each exhale, we're going to buzz like a bee. And gently open the eyes, release the hands. From here, we're going to come into relaxation pose with the bolster. So we're going to lay on our side. You want to have extra support underneath the neck and underneath the bent leg. I'm going to put a bolster. I'm going to rest whichever knee is bent. Rest that on the bolster. Lay on the side. Relax our head. We want that bottom arm extended. You can rest the top arm on your abdomen. Ending the sequence, here is the practice of relaxation of the body on the sides with bolster support. Generally, one ends with Savasana, but here we don't take the spine back to supine, but support the heart while lying down on the sides, giving the heart and the head a complete sense of calmness. Bring the body to lie down on the side, placing the bolster at the head and below the thigh of the bent leg. Focus on controlling the emotions and the reason for the causes of insomnia. Stay here for 10 more breaths and focus on complete relaxation. Connect to your breath and just breathe. From here, we're going to remove the bolsters. We're going to gently come up into your most comfortable seated pose, whether it be easy pose or half lotus. Think back to your intention for practice. We practice calming and grounding poses and breathing to assist with rest. Think back to your intention. Your intention is your own. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, let go of anything that doesn't serve you. I want to thank each and every one of you for sharing your practice today. The divine in me sees and honors the divine in you. Bring your hands to heart center. Give a gentle bow. Namaste. Be well.